Good evening, everyone. Does that sound okay? And welcome. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the library. My name is Mary Alice Little. I work here. I coordinate volunteers, and I work with people from other countries to improve language skills. I'd like to thank Michelle, who's behind the scenes here, for putting this all together. And also the Friends of the Library. Their book sales support the programming that happens here at the library, so it wouldn't happen without those. So join us for our book sales in spring and fall. And of course I'd like to welcome Beppe and, where's his wife? Lovely, there we go. Francesca. Frederica, I'm sorry, I knew it was an F, and a lovely Frederica, yes, welcome to you both. So Beppe Gambetta is a musician and ambassador of art who for more than 4 decades continues to amaze us with the uniqueness and originality of his projects born on both sides of the Atlantic. He is an acoustic guitarist, songwriter, producer, and educator, and his art is fueled above all by the curiosity that springs from encounters, travel, and research. He has brought back forgotten artists, popularized and reinvented folk guitar techniques, produced unforgettable shows, and much original music for which he is loved and respected on the international scene. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Beppe Gambetta.
Good evening, buonasera, ciao, welcome. So I speak English, not only Italian.
Well.
And yes, it's a pleasure to be back in Corny and to discover this incredible library. It's fantastic what a cultural center and a special point for the community is you don't find libraries like this in many places.
Thank you. I think the staff here work hard to make it a welcoming place with wonderful programming for everyone. And
yes.
we're really happy to have you be a part of that here.
Grazie.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So we're going to do this a little bit like an interview. So a question is, or tell us a little bit about your special life. I understand you have 2 homes.
Yes, I have 2 homes. I fell in love when I was a teenager with the American flag picking technique, and this was a start of my whole career in study, and I particularly fell in love with the music of Doc Watson. I don't know if you are familiar with Doc Watson. He is the father of the American acoustic guitar. And actually March 3rd was his 101st birthday. So we had one whole year of the 100-year celebration of Doc Watson, and it is really an artist that is a niche artist from the independent, folk world, but is really a fundamental figure. And there is even a famous song that says the three most important things in life are to see the David of Michelangelo, to see the Mona Lisa, and to hear a bluesy song from Doc Watson. These are if you do all these 3 things here. And so I was in Genova, Italy, a normal Led Zeppelin teenager, and I heard the music of Doc Watson. I became a Doc Watson boy, and I devoted my whole from that moment. I think I was 16, something like this. I devoted all my studies I switched from Led Zeppelin to Doc Watson, and I'm really happy that I did. And of course, at a certain point, I understood that I was always a copy, no matter how I was perfectly reproducing the music of Doc Watson. I was always a copy of him, that Doc Watson is unique, that there is no possibility to reproduce his sound. So slowly also my own music and a lot of research about folk players on both sides of the ocean came. And so at a certain point with my wife, I am from Genova in Italy. Genova is famous because is the birthplace of Niccolò Paganini, the greatest violin player, and the birthplace of pesto sauce. And sometimes when I say this, pesto sauce gets more applause than Paganini. That's but anyway. With my wife Federica, after living in Genova for a certain amount of years, we decided that it was really beautiful to enjoy the American life and to live also here and to have a home and to enjoy our friends and a community. And so we now in this moment we partially live close to Genova in Italy in wine country and in the famous Lambertville, New Jersey, that are two beautiful places to be. And because Lambertville, New Jersey is a place where really close to where George Washington was crossing the Delaware, and so it's a historic place with a lot of artists and great friends, and not so far away from the airports. And the other town where we live in Italy is called Ovada. Is a place where the greatest dolcetto wine is produced. So we really try to get the best from these two world that we have. We have an equal amount of dear friends on both sides, and this is one of the great satisfactions of our life, that I live this American dream not only with the art, but being immersed in a community.
I understand you have a special relationship with Corning. Would you tell us about that?
Oh yes, I play this acoustic music that has a special circuit all over the United States, and Corning is one important place for folk players, because there is this activity, I don't know since how many years, this concert series, at least 20.
Probably more.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it 15, and it was going maybe 20 years before me.
Yes.
Under the radar.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's a beautiful thing that there are this music has pockets of beautiful followers, and in different areas. And so I got to come to Corning at least 3 times in my life. So I have beautiful memories, friendship with many people. So it's a joy to be back. Now is the first time I am back after this. I hate to pronounce this word that starts with pan and finish with mick. Because don't say, but it's the first time after, let's call it vacation. After this long vacation that we had, it's the first time that I am back. The world has changed, and the fingers are a little slower. But with the years, you learn to be a little more expressive. So.
I think you said something about you've met people from Corning in places other than Corning.
Oh yes, we have this friendship. We got to visit together in Genova. They came to my hometown. Yes, it's the typical thing that if through the music you start beautiful friendships. And so I remember they came from Corning, and we brought them in a Genovese, really typical restaurant, and the kids already went for. Genova is not only culinary famous for pesto, but also many things is that we are the capital of focaccia, if you could be interested. And yes, it's hard to reduce everything to the food, but certain kind of food can be thought as a form of art. And in this book that I wrote, that is called Declaration of Love, the first title that I was thinking for the book was "Let's Be Together Again," or because it was during the vacation, So yes, I thought that one way to be together is, of course, with food, and is all related about the communality. And so I have chosen in the book the most communal foods that are possible, the food that are really bringing you together, that are the most perfect for a good jam session. In Italy, when you prepare polenta, you never use the instant polenta. You need to do the real polenta that takes 45 minutes, because during this 45 minutes you are hanging out with all the friends and taking turns to turn you need to turn it really quickly and carefully, and while you do this, you start to drink wine, and someone is starting to play and tell a story. And so there are some food that have this quality and of bringing people together. And among the American food, I have chosen chili con carne. Because I see that in so many times in the nice musicians gathering, when you get together, there is this chili con carne, and I enjoy to write in the book also the most important thing, the recommended listening. Because it's easy to recommend a great wine that stays well with this kind of food, but it's fantastic to tell exactly while you prepare who should you listen, Chicoria or Johnny Mitchell. That's a really an important question.
People talk about pairing wines with food. You're talking about pairing music
Absolutely,
with food to
yes.
bring that vibe into it as everyone is stirring.
Yes.
Tell us more about your book and what prompted you to decide to write a book.
Yes, I decided to write a book because really everybody was missing being together. And I thought, I was thinking about, during that vacation, every musician was able finally to take from the basement or from attics or whatever, these big boxes of memories. And I did also the same. And I understood that all the important moments of change of my career happened when I fell in love I encountered some artistic form or some artistic community or some incredible artist, and I fell in love with this situation or person. And so that's the reason, because the book is called Declarations of Love, because I decided to bring back to life all the stories of these encounters. And the encounters are are many, and probably if I would have to choose the best encounter in terms of the wise old man, I would choose Pete Seeger. The encounter with Pete Seeger was amazing, because it proved that the wise old man can really exist. I spent 2 hours in his home, and he spoke about what was fun. He spoke a lot about making plans for the future of the humanity and how to do things to try to influence the other people to do well. And and we played also a little bit. He showed me his lick, accompaniment lick, typical in dropped D. That was his signature lick, and he was. He spoke all the time like this, you know, because I think he was saying yes. And one person asked him, you performed for the inauguration of Obama, so to play in front of 1.5 million of people is a big emotion. It was a big emotion. He said, oh, well, at my age and after all what happened to me in my life, I have the same emotion when I play in front of 1 million people as when I teach to my class of my 25 little children.
There's a man with a lot of heart.
Amazing, amazing. And so the idea of the book was to bring a little bit this, all of these stories and together in a pleasant way, and to choose the best. And so I told stories of falling in love with the great festivals, you know, because especially in the United States, the great music festival happen all over the world, but some of them in the United States are really special in terms of community. I don't know if you ever heard about the festival of Winfield in Kansas. Festival is the place where there are all the contests for all the folk instruments, and there are 15,000 people, and that was my first big festival. I was invited. It was an incredible emotion. I stayed awake until 6 in the morning and meeting people. We invited to all the campgrounds. So the book is bringing back all of these memories. Also the joy of what technically happens if you fall in love with something. You try to pursue it, and many times it becomes a challenge, because, for example, I fell in love with the beautiful workshops in United States, where you have a few hundred people that are learning together with many students for 1 week in the summer, and nothing like that was happening in Europe. So I decided I will start and I will do the first. I found a place on the top of a mountain in Slovenia, and so we were able, sort of 100 people from all over Europe, to meet on the top of that mountain and teach for 1 week. So in the book there are stories about all of these challenges. Also, there is not a sort of a festival, all-star festival inside in theaters. There are few festivals in the summer, but so I invented in Geneva the acoustic night. That is a show where musicians from all over the world they meet on the stage on a special theme. But I think I was talking too much.
We're here to learn about you, so
I'm just going to jump in here. 1 second, and we'll do this. Let's see. Do your arm step behind you.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
I'll just turn it on.
I'll give you this then.
I will take
Thank
that.
you.
Or no,
I think you
take it.
can hear Fanny better. Okay, that's better. Thank you for these wonderful stories. You also mentioned your first trip to the United States to record.
Yes. It was an incredible thing. I decided that I had to finally produce an album, and but in our Italian scene, it was so difficult to do something really special. and to find someone who believes in you. I would say, I would like to do an album, I am a flat picker, I play the... Absolutely no one was interested, so I decided I'll do it by myself, another big challenge. And I decided to rent a big digital tape recorder, the first digital tape recorder of that era, and to travel all over the United States and knock at the door of all the famous flat-picking acoustic guitar players. And so I did really, and say, hi, I am an Italian flat picker, would you like to play a tune with me? And they didn't have the courage to send me away. You know? I was really persistent. I don't know, Jehovah Witness of flat picking. And technically I was able to meet with some of the great, Norman Blake, Dan Crary, John Jorgensen, David Greer, all the great players. I didn't dare to ask to Doc Watson because I met him later and we played together also, but at that time it was too much for me, to go and knock at the door of God, and so, but it's cool because I started to ask to do some phone calls and to the United States to organize it, and a phone bill of $500,000 lira arrived. That it's $500,000. It was probably $600-700 for that time, and so my mom was desperate, and I was telling to a student of mine, and he told me, and actually I have the story. I could read it to you. Yes, probably it's so this is a part of the chapter of the story of the album Dialogues. That was my first album that I recorded on the road with this tape recorder. I'm traveling all over. And so the logistical preparation of the trip and the details of so many meetings required hours of phone calls. Plus, at that time, my English was a disaster. Sort of like now, and phone calls to the US could cost as much as $10 a minute. Fortunately, the discovery of what I later called the office came to my aid. One of my guitar students, also a medical student, taught me the trick to get a free line to the USA from Italian phone booths. It's very simple. Dial 1 3 times, then slam the receiver down hard, and the direct line to the USA magically arrives, free of charge and with no time limit. The trick worked perfectly in every phone booth, but the defect was too obvious, and soon all the Genoese pay phones had been overhauled and fixed. And as an incurable optimist, I was convinced that in a city as big as Genoa, there was at least one booth that they had forgotten to fix. One night I decided to look for it, starting from the extreme west of the city, beginning to the Voltri bus terminal and stopping at every single booth to repeat 1, 1, 1, and then bang. I did a meticulous job moving through the various neighborhoods from the rich to the infamous and even to the heights of the city. Exhausted at 4:30 in the morning, I had finally found it, and the paradox was that the magic phone booth, the only one still enabled, was located in front of the Genoa police headquarters. Yeah, and so there is all the stories of because I went all over the United States, stand by on Delta, and in 23 days, I was able to record this album in all of these places, and the interesting thing was also the return to Italy. Even the return to Italy would be adventurous. To save money, I had flown with JAT, Yugoslavian Air Transportation, and the return ticket was on the New York Zagreb to Milan route. The flight was delayed, and in Zagreb I missed the connection to Milan. But once again, a surprise encounter and kindness came to my aid. A nice Croatian family offered me a ride. We will take you to the Italian border in Trieste. Our car has a small trailer where you can put your guitar and your suitcase. I arrive at the Italian border, say goodbye to my new friends, and then I walk the last few meters alone, the only pedestrian in the queue between the cars, with a red suitcase, red windbreaker, and a guitar with red case. The policeman asks me, "And you, where are you coming from on foot?" I answer, "You won't believe it, but I'm coming from New York."
Wonderful stories. You mentioned starting out with Led Zeppelin and moving to Doc Watson.
Yes.
Tell us about your early experiences. I mean, how did you come upon a guitar, and what was that like the first time did you go like, wow, this is, tell us about that.
Yeah, I was 11. It's also written on the book. There are so many artists that say that when they saw that instrument and they heard that sound, they understood. It's like exactly when you see the woman of your life, that after a few minutes you know, aha, she is. And this happened with the woman of my life, in my life, and also with the guitar. I was 11, I was on a train, and there was this young guy with a guitar singing some Italian songwriting songs, and it was so beautiful, everybody singing with him. I thought that's what I want to do, and
your heart went.
Yes, absolutely. And I was self-taught, and because there were no teachers for that kind of music, I was learning a little bit classical music in an orchestra of mandolin and guitars. In Italy, is a typical thing. But soon, Led Zeppelin and Doc Watson and all of this, they called me strong, and so I started to pursue it, and it was really the joy of my life, and I'm really happy that I decided not to go with the rock direction, but with something special and peculiar that needed a lot of attention. So I'm a flat picker. I don't know if you ever heard. This kind of style is called flat picking, and there is a famous joke in Italy. Flat picking, they think, looking for an apartment. I don't know. Maybe I should play and sing one little thing. So, yes. We give you a little preview of the Sunday. The Sunday concert, and I know I look, and there was one question that is, what is your favorite song to perform? And the answer is the last one that I composed.
Right, the most recent one.
The most recent one, because is the one that has still some good excitement, and the song is related a lot with the topics that I'm talking in the book. One of my declaration of love, one of the moment that the best declaration of love was in my career when I met with fathers of the music. I was really blessed to spend a little time with Wayne Shorter, a little time with Paco de Lucia, with Pete Seeger, and so every time I am able to spend time and also to play a little bit with these fathers is one of the greatest joy. and particularly the one that invented the music. There are some artists that, like, I don't know, Eric Clapton, or that before them the instrument was something different. So after them, the whole world changed because they invented totally a new way of playing. It happened with Doc Watson, it had happened with Django Reinhardt, and with so many people. So the story of this song is that I was in California, and a miraculous thing happened. In 3 concerts, you say consecutive, isn't it? In 3 consecutive concerts, 3 fathers of the music came to visit me, and I was able to perform a little bit with them. And the first concert, David Grisman came. David Grisman is a great father of the American mandolin. He is a folk and jazz player who established a new direction of music. And we played together. He's 82, and it was so fantastic. And the next concert, I was in Mendocino, and Dan Crary, a father of the American guitar, who is 84, he came and we played, and it was another great joy. And the next day in San Francisco, Peter Rowan, a songwriter, famous songwriter, came and we performed together. So the next concert came, and I was watching the door. I said, who is going to come? Maybe the Pope, because after so many, important people, but actually no one came.
But it was your turn.
It was my turn. But generally, this beautiful experience of one day after the next meeting with the fathers of the music, and so I wrote. This song that is called Pick and Sing With You, and I wrote it in the old style, like if it would be a super hit in 1932. And it's really exciting because it's one of the first times that I'm singing it. I sing for you, and you will let me know if you think that it will be a super hit. Fingers moving slow, children running round below. Pick a few notes with me like it used to be. Feel the energy of a simple melody. It's so good to sit and pick with you. And play gently as we did one day. We don't need too much written tone and touch. Here it comes back again, steady as an old freight train. It's so good to sit and pick with you. Longing for the sound of our friends no more around. We will bring them back with the licks we know. Oh, you play so well, sounds just like you are made well. It's so good to sit and pick with you. is music that will last. It's an open door to a better world. I don't need no gold or some million records sold. I just need to sit and pick with you. Children running round below. Pick a few notes with me like it used to be. Feel the energy of a simple melody. It's so good to sit and pick with you. That's great. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a hit.
It's a hit. At least in chording. You know? Okay.
Tell us about, if you would, songwriting for you. Do you start with melody or words, or does it come together all at once, or is it a long, slow process?
Sometimes there is an idea that has both, and these are the best combination. Sometimes it comes the few words that has a little melody that has a good sense, and is what I'm looking for. Because from there you move on, and sometimes it takes forever to finish it and to make it nice. And actually, I heard that for the guy who wrote Hallelujah.
Leonard Cohen.
Leonard Cohen took him 10 years to write Hallelujah. He wrote it and rewrote it for 10 years, but finally, and so it is really unpredictable. What I would say is you really need to be ready to catch it. And because the little idea comes exactly in the moment when you are not able to write it down. It's always like this. So sometimes some people has this special idea in the moment when they are just before falling asleep. There is this, and they need to go out and look for a pen. But yeah, I think this first light is unpredictable. All the rest is predictable. You start to write down ideas, where to go, and how to develop this. And probably this little idea is the difference between artificial intelligence and human being. And thank God that we have that little moment. And the same, I write also guitar music, and there is a moment when you noodle around when you hear that you are playing a little combination that you never heard, that is a little bit special. And so, and you need really to catch it, because the important thing is to be different from the others, to have some special something that comes.
I understand that,
yes.
that idea. You have this guitar. Do you have more than one guitar?
Yes, I don't have a lot of guitars compared with some other players, and all the guitars that I have basically are different guitars. I have a 12-string and a baritone guitar and a tres guitar that is beautiful, sort of like a Cuban thing. I have a bouzouki guitar and that sort of dobro slide guitars. And in this latest album that I produced that will come out in April, I use them all, and they are really different. I don't have the cult of owning 20 guitars that are the same. I really go for a different sound. And the interesting thing is that I have this good guitar, this Robert Taylor, and since it's so good, I bought two, and one stays at home in Italy and one stays at home in the United States. And the guitar that is alone for 2 or 3 months, when I come and I say, "Oh, good to see you again," she's mad at me. She's really she's asking me where you have been. And no, it's true, because if a guitar is not played for 3 months, it takes a good guitar, it takes maybe 4 or 5 days before playing again. It's because the wood needs to be pushed to vibrate in the proper way. So, but these guitars are interesting. For I don't know how many guitar players there are here. There is something about the woods that make the tone really good, and the rosewood from Brazil is the best, and second best, they say, is the rosewood from Madagascar, and this is from rosewood from Madagascar, and the top is Engelmann, is an American way, a kind of spruce that is really special. And the guitar is proudly worn out a little bit. It has a lot of, it is not perfect because you need to work with the guitar, and so every little banging that you have, it means that you were in some places, and she was with you when you worked. So
it's loved like the Velveteen rabbit that has its fur rubbed off because it's loved so much.
It's loved so much. Yes.
May I ask you about the top edge here? This.
There are a few things that I asked to change in my guitar. There is a bevel here. Is really great for the blood circulation of old guitarists. It helps you to practice many long hours and not have this the edge, rough edge of the guitar. And this is my invention. Is a Beppe Gambetta wrist rest. Is a special thing to it. And I also changed a few different things. I changed here, so I did a few adjustments to the guitar.
I noticed the strength in your fingers to, again, if you play the guitar, that's something that a lot of people say, oh, I can't press that hard. But you've been playing for a long time, but that's a tremendous strength. And calluses, yes. People probably ask about calluses on your fingers.
Yes, actually, in terms of strength, it becomes a special kind of strength towards the speed and the precision. In the reality, when there is a screw that I cannot open, if I ask to a friend of mine who is a mechanic, he is much more strong in the hands. But it is a different kind of strength that, and the fingers are quite worn out. If you practice a few hours, I found I don't know, that there are here guitar players, if I speak about this, or maybe no one, just one, two, okay. Actually, I found one beautiful supplement that helps the tendinitis to go, is anti-inflammatory, is called eggshell membrane. Little pills of eggshell membrane is a natural chondroitin and glucosamide. It's really, for a 69-year-old, it's fantastic. Actually, I thought maybe to bring our friends to Czechoslovakia, because I would like to read one more couple of pages of the book. It's about I was invited to perform in a folk festival in Czechoslovakia, and I got this permission finally, and I crossed the Iron Curtain before it came down, and it was in 1988. So yes, of course I arrived, there were a lot of controls on the train, the police and so on, the typical thing. And finally I was at the festival, and that was a really beautiful moment. Now they finally call me. It's my turn. I walk on the big stage approach the microphone, dazzled by the spotlight. I know that when you go on stage at festival in Czechoslovakia, you must greet the audience by shouting into the microphone, "Ahoy!" But if this happens in July of 1988, while a revolution born among young people is about to sweep away an ancient regime, I can't know that the audience will respond in unison with all the power they have in their lungs. And I get hit by an immense that lasts quite few seconds. There are 25,000 young people shouting this word with the anger of those who want change and the joy of those who want to greet a foreigner coming from the so-called free world. And they want to do it in an unforgettable way. Their greeting literally moves the air. I feel this wind on my face, and even my hair moves slightly on my forehead. I had hair at the time. Then silence falls. 50,000 eyes are on my pick, and everyone is waiting for me to start playing. It is such an emotional moment that I am caught off guard. The cameras of the national TV are pointed on my fingers, and someone told me that we are also being broadcast in other countries in the East. Everyone is looking at me, but I hesitate to start, because as an inveterate flatpicker, I had planned to play the medley, riding on that new river train, Turkey in the Straw. But how? The world is going through an epochal change. The foreigner arrives. Maybe everyone expects an important message of brotherhood, and I propose a nursery rhyme about cheating, multiplying in every verse, and a melody inspired by a turkey in the straw. I don't have time to reconsider and change the program. I start fast with, I'm riding on that new river train. Who knows what they will think if they listen to me in Bulgaria and Romania. But I underestimated the deep knowledge of the folk repertoire and American bluegrass that they have around here, and how Doc Watson and flatpicking are well known in this land devoted to bluegrass for so many different reasons. The response is wonderful and has so many meanings that confirm that music is always an important exercise in freedom. I can still hear the echo of that applause, and if I could have access to a time machine, that is certainly a moment I would like to relive, because it is a strong testimony that art and beauty are and will always be engines of important changes. Yes. So yes, that was an unforgettable, really, experience. Yeah, and I made great friends. I even helped a guy to escape. He asked me information and phone numbers of American friends because he was gonna ask for asylum, and he told me, please help me, but we need to hide because it's dangerous. And he escaped, actually, really. But 5 months later, the wall came down. So it was such a big effort, and he could have waited a little bit.
Sounds like you meet wonderful people wherever you go.
Like tonight.
Was there a time when you thought, oh, maybe I should be doing something else? Or did you always feel confident in this direction?
Actually, when I started, I told to myself, I try exactly 1 year and I will see. And now I still do it. Every year I think, maybe 1 year more. But it's true. I tried, and I probably, yes, I understood that that was my occupation, gonna be the occupation of my life when I was invited to some of the great American festivals, and I was really accepted in this big community, and this was the most important step. Of course, having my first album also produced in the United States by, it was called Green Linnet, a famous folk label, was the step that made me understand that. And yes, now I'm really lucky that I don't have a retirement plan, because so I will do like many normal musicians do. They don't have retirement plan and they continue to play because it's the only thing that they are able to do. I am able to prepare pesto and play music, and I don't think that pesto could be give me enough money to to survive. So we will continue to do it.
Well, we're so glad that you persevered then and that you continue to persevere and share these stories and this music with us. I'm not sure what our timing is.
We have until 6:30 or until Beppe feels that he has had enough.
Yes, I don't know. I think we could go if the audience would have any kind of curiosity. I could. Ciao, I could answer, and maybe I could play one more two. Yes.
Anyone have any questions?
Yes.
You use a lot of color red, when you mentioned, when you read a new story. So what is the significance of the color red to you?
Color red, it started as a sort of coincidence when I found a certain amount of really cheap red shoes, sneakers, sort of 30 years ago in my hometown, and you had to buy, I think, 4 pairs. And they cost really, and people of Geneva are famous to be cheap, like Scottish, And so I bought them all, and I said, I have to start a new fashion, And I came to the United States with the red shoes, and they told me, is this the new Italian fashion? Oh yes, and I started like that. That I liked to. That color because it was cheap and it could give a little signature to. And after I discovered that in many cultures the red is really positive. In Brazil it brings good luck. And I think in China, Chao brings away all the bad spirits, something like this. So I keep on hearing that is a nice color. So I still have many. I have the guitar strap in this color, and I continue. It is my signature, and yes, I show you I don't know if I can find the exact.
The cover of your book.
Also the cover of the book,
Yeah.
yes, Santa Claus, yes. And in Genova we invented pesto sauce, so we don't declare love with a bunch of flowers, but we declare love with basil. That is our national plant. So it's the reason because I have this. Yes, I forgot to tell that the book is also an erotic book. It happened many years ago that there was a rumor about a calendar of naked folk guitarists. So I said, wow, I have to participate, I have to be ready. So I went to my photographer and I took a picture dressed only with my red shoes and a pick. So, but no other guitarist wanted to undress. So I was the only, so finally the calendar was not produced because there were not 12. So I decided to put this erotic picture in the book, and if are you ready? So I can show you. It is this one. It's the strange thing that happened to my life. Also here it's a pizza with my name. In Columbus, Ohio, at Natalie, they serve a pizza Beppe Gambetta, based on porcini mushrooms and artichoke hearts. So it's a sort of my invention, and so I'm really proud. I don't know how many guitarists have a pizza in their name, you know. And I probably, if you like to hear something more about this, there is one thing that I really care to speak about, is the acoustic night. Because it's another challenge that I had in my life. There was no possibility to have a big, nice sort of indoor festival. No one in Italy organized. We had a lot of other things, operas, and so finally with my wife Federica, 24 years ago, we decided to invent the acoustic night. And the concept is the same concept of the book. It's the joy of the artistic encounter that happens for the first time. You know? There is this freshness in two artists that meet on the same stage and make music for the first time. And so it started with one night in this 1,000-seat theater, and it went well. And in the different year, it grew, and now is 3 or 4 nights that we do. So 3,000 or 4,000 people that are coming to Genova to the acoustic night, and we are really happy because we have a small percentage of American people that come to the acoustic night. So that's why I tell it, because there is always in May is a month of touring people. If you would be tourist in Europe, don't miss Genova on the in middle May, because there will be this acoustic night that this year, every year it changes the subject. 1 year ago, the subject was, the theme was linguistic minorities. So we had artists from native Indian artists, Mediterranean minority in little islands, and Quebec minority. So a lot of beautiful minorities were represented, and this year is women. Only the program is dedicated to women. I don't know what I will do there. I will just be the moderator, and so it's going to be fun, and it is something that has some beautiful stories in the book. So.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Oops. So probably I'm gonna sing for you one more song, and I would like to sing a song that I wrote in the Genovese dialect. It's really interesting that Italy has this richness in the dialects, has 20 different regions, and Italy is sort of a young nation. It was unified only in 1866, I think, or 65. I don't know. So it's really a young nation, and all of these identities of the region are still totally alive. If a person from Milan comes to Genova in a bar where they speak only Genovese, he will get the 20% of what we say. And same if I go to Naples or to Sardinia. And so there is this cultural richness in these 20 complete languages that we have. And I would like to let you listen the Genovese language, that is a sailor language that sounds a little bit like Portuguese. The interesting thing in this kind of music genre, the guitar changes always tuning. And so that means that one note that was here it disappears. You need to look for it in a completely different place. But it's really interesting if you change the tuning, you give to the guitar a new soul, and different combination and sounds are coming out. For example, this tuning is called D-A-D-E-A-E, and it's just fantastic just to hear it without putting any finger. And this is called Dove ti ao vento, and it is that in English means where the wind blows. Is a story about the city of Genova and how people love to go back. The first verse is about the great age of the emigration when everybody had to leave. The second the second verse is about the war. Genova is one of the strongest anti-fascistic cities in Italy and suffered a lot during the war, and is the only, actually is really proud because the only city in Europe where the Nazi fascists had to sign the surrender in the hand of the partisan. It was sort of 6 days before the arrival of the Allies. So when the Allies arrived, they say, "Good job." And so that's the story of our city. And the third verse is about modern time in the modern, so that you know a little bit what I'm talking about, and I hope you will enjoy the sound of this. A nonna Joe, alle sulla cui suoi figli, un maio le appartiu senza tornare, barba langin, un lempesco da scoggi, un amico le nasciu per navigare. Cilin, le emigrò 2 anni prima, aveva una bittega dal Massin. Ma se le pigiò non l'hanno visto, a casa le torna coi vestiti buoni. E un figlio che diceva che pensa, a se una cosa che vuoi tornare. Non so, ti me lasciò in me in tasca, ma male torna grossa e lei quando entra dentro, lo lancio a bocca quando vedi al vento. L'Ivan scurì, la guerra l'è finita, ma l'erba grama cresce in tutti i canti, a nasce in fianni, in scellersi all'ena marottia, e sun tornei del giù e in tanti. Anche Ballilla le tornò le morto sueno, cantiò con l'Iva in mani in estinto. Non abbiamo mai capito se le serviva e come l'erba cramato nasce e un figlio che dicevano che pensare se una cosa di che per tornare non so chi me lasciò in mente a tasca ma torna grosso e lei quando entra dentro lo mangia a bocca quando vediamo ma lei quando perdona e un male torna dentro lo mangia a bocca quando vediamo vento. Is a preview of a concert that will be held on Sunday at 2 in the afternoon in a church, and actually there are still few tickets available. And maybe if Deborah would like to say something about the concert, so maybe someone could decide to come or to send some music lovers.
I have some flyers. Has all the information, and you could buy tickets in advance or you could buy tickets at the door. Come and ask me individually
And
what you want to know.
you should tell the name of the church where
Oh,
it is.
so the concert series is Valley Folk Music, and we rent space at the First United Methodist Church, the corner of First and Cedar. It's the red brick one. And the door that we use is on First Street at the ground level.
If you don't know her, this is Deborah Chessman, and she has been what I would call the champion of Valley folk for many, many years. And it's wonderful that she brings this to
So,
Do you want to plug your book? Copies for sale, right?
Yes, we have copies for sale, and it was not easy to translate it. I wrote it in Italian, but we translated it really in every detail in English, and there are interesting information if one day you will come and visit us.
Are there recipes in there?
Yes, there are 12 recipes, as I told you. They are recipes about communal things, from polenta to focaccia to bruschetta to everything that brings you really brings you together.
And pesto?
No, I didn't put it because I already is sort of everybody knows pesto, and I had pesto in a previous book. I wrote a real cookbook, totally, and I had so much success as a writer of a cookbook that we decided not to reprint it because it was challenging my career as a guitar player, because every journalist instead of writing me about my research, I wrote books about Italian guitar and researches. I did research about the music of the immigration. They started to write no more about all my activity, only about spaghetti. And it was, yes, a little annoying, so we decided to put it a little more in a... But yes, we have the book here, and I am specialized in one whole page of dedication. You know, I cannot stop and say just my name. And maybe I am ending this with I'm famous as a guitar player, so I'm well known as a flat pick. So I play a guitar tune, and but the problem is. I need to retune, because this is another soul of the guitar, is the famous DAD, GAD tuning. It's a typical tuning that is used by many Celtic players, but it works also in different directions. Before playing for you this last tune, I would like to ask you for really strong applause to Mary Alice and to Michelle. Thank you.